Forecasters are calling it February fire. A surge of unseasonably warm, humid air is colliding right now with a powerful upper-level disturbance carving through the Central Plains, and by tomorrow afternoon, a line of strong to severe thunderstorms is going to sweep from East Texas and Oklahoma into the lower Mississippi Valley. This Valentine's Day weekend storm is a 1,000-mile-wide system confirmed by every major model, and it's going to drop widespread rainfall of 1 to 4 inches from North Texas to the Carolinas, with isolated spots potentially approaching 6 inches. On the cold side, winter storm warnings are active across 12 states from West Virginia to Maine as snow and ice threaten the I-95 corridor from Sunday into Monday. But this weekend storm is only the opening act. By Monday the 17th, the biggest snowstorm of the entire winter season slams into the Sierra Nevada with potentially over 100 inches of mountain snow. And the pattern through the 25th stays relentlessly active. This is your Friday forecast for February the 13th, 2026, and the next 12 days are going to be extraordinary. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. The action starts tonight. New data shows thunderstorms initiating over West Texas as early as 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time this evening, then advancing eastward through the overnight hours. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk posted across West Texas and into Central Texas, with the main threats being damaging hail and gusty winds. A couple of supercells south of Midland and Lubbock could produce half-dollar-size hail and an isolated brief tornado. By tomorrow morning, Valentine's Day, these storms push into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. The DFW Metro has roughly an 80% chance of rain with 1 to 3 inches expected, especially east of I-35 and north of I-20. Houston's rain chances are closer to 90%. Austin expects half an inch to an inch. San Antonio sees lower totals. Oklahoma City and Tulsa get soaking rain and embedded thunderstorms through Saturday morning. Saturday evening is when the severe weather threat escalates. The most active period for thunderstorms runs Saturday night from Louisiana and Arkansas eastward through Mississippi and Alabama, potentially extending into Tennessee. Tyler, Texas stays in the storm zone. Shreveport, Monroe, and Lafayette face strong storm potential. Jackson, Mississippi needs to watch closely. Baton Rouge, Biloxi, and Mobile are in the Saturday night severe corridor. Pine Bluff and Little Rock, Arkansas sit in the bullseye. The GFS model shows potentially stronger to severe storms developing in Arkansas Saturday evening, while the European keeps the worst further south in Louisiana and Mississippi. The rainfall flooding threat is serious. The Weather Prediction Center maintains a marginal risk with an embedded slight risk for excessive rainfall across the lower Mississippi Valley centered on Saturday. Little Rock, Fort Smith, Texarkana, Memphis, and the northern DFW suburbs are highlighted. Totals of 2 to 4 inches are likely across the broad corridor from Oklahoma City through Nashville and Birmingham. The drought-stricken South desperately needs this rain. The Mississippi River at Memphis is languishing near -7 feet, and for every foot the river drops, barges must lighten their loads by 5,000 bushels just to avoid running aground. This soaking rain is a critical lifeline, even if the timing wrecks Valentine's Day plans. By Sunday, the system pushes into the southeast. Atlanta, Birmingham, Savannah, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and the Carolinas see heavy rain with thunderstorms. NASCAR organizers at Daytona are monitoring this system closely as the rain threatens the Daytona 500 green flag at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Charlotte and Raleigh get drenched Sunday into Monday. Columbia, South Carolina sees heavy rain. Nashville and Louisville are in the rain zone. Even northern Florida gets significant precipitation. Now the winter weather side. This is where the models have been battling all week, and I need to be honest about what the latest guidance is showing. The WPC extended forecast discussion from Wednesday confirmed the trend is more offshore for the Northeast, meaning the heaviest snow threats along the I-95 corridor have been decreasing. Winter storm warnings and weather advisories cover parts of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Maine, but the impacts look more limited than what the European model was showing earlier this week. Here's the city-by-city breakdown for Sunday into Monday. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore see primarily rain with a possible wintry mix on the backside. No significant accumulation expected. Philadelphia gets mostly rain, but the western suburbs and Poconos could see a changeover to snow with an inch or two at higher elevations. The Poconos and northeastern Pennsylvania are in the best position for 3 to 6 inches. New York City leans rain for the metro area. A westward wobble in the track could change that, but the trend has been against the snow solution for the city. Boston and eastern Massachusetts have better snow odds since cold air holds more convincingly this far north. A few inches are possible, with Worcester and the interior doing better. Hartford and Providence are in the transition zone. Albany, Syracuse, and Burlington are cold enough for all snow with a few inches likely, plus lake effect enhancement after the system passes. Portland, Maine is positioned for the heaviest northeast accumulations, potentially 4 to 8 inches. Buffalo and Rochester see lake effect snow on the backside of the departing low. Now let me tell you why the second half of this forecast matters even more than the weekend. Beginning this weekend and intensifying through the 17th, a 500 millibar trough is amplifying across the western United States. The ECMWF, GFS, and Canadian ensembles are in rare agreement on this pattern. The negative PNA signal is strong and persistent. This western trough favors periods of heavy precipitation and high elevation snow across California and the Southwest into early next week, and by the time we reach the 19th, the strongest signals shift into the Pacific Northwest as the trough lifts northward. The Sierra Nevada is the headline story. AccuWeather has flagged this as the biggest storm of the winter, with over 100 inches of snow possible at the highest elevations from this event alone. The 10-day total could approach 10 to 14 feet. Wind gusts along the Sierra Ridge could reach 80 miles per hour, creating near-zero visibility and making travel over mountain passes impossible. Lake Tahoe area resorts, Mammoth Mountain, and the entire central and northern Sierra Nevada are going to see season-altering accumulation. For context, snowpack across the Sierra Nevada was running just 50 to 70% of normal as recently as mid-January. This storm train could single-handedly close the deficit. The Cascades across Washington and Oregon keep getting hammered with heavy mountain snow. Seattle and Portland see continued heavy rain with possible lowland snow if the cold dips far enough. Wind gusts over 50 mph are expected with the strongest systems. Salt Lake City, which recorded just 0.1 inches of snow all season, finally gets real snow potential as the Wasatch Mountains get hammered. Denver and the Front Range see snow chances as energy dives through the central Rockies. Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming are in the multi-foot accumulation zone. Boise gets cold and wet. Even Phoenix and Tucson see precipitation as the trough digs into Arizona. The WPC Probabilistic Hazards Outlook carries a slight risk of heavy snow for the Cascades, Klamath Mountains, and Sierra Nevada all the way through February 25th. A slight risk for the interior west covers the same period. A slight risk of heavy snow is also noted for the northern plains, upper Mississippi Valley, and Great Lakes from the 19th through 21st. And a moderate risk of high winds hits the central and southern plains on the 19th and 20th. This is not a single event story. This is a multi-week siege. The period from February 18th through the 25th keeps the storm factory running. By the 18th, a system develops across the northern plains and upper Midwest. Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Green Bay, and Duluth see snow on the cold side. Chicago sits on the rain-snow line, depending on exact storm track. Detroit and Cleveland get rain transitioning to wintry mix. Indianapolis sees rain. A warm front draped across the Great Lakes into the northeast brings rainfall to the southeast, with Nashville, Atlanta, and Charlotte in the warm sector. By Thursday the 19th, the primary low tracks near Chicago. A dragging cold front pulls warm, humid air into the southeast, pushing temperatures into the 60s and 70s from Nashville through Atlanta and into the Carolinas. St. Louis sees the 60s. The contrast between warm air ahead and cold behind creates the instability for what comes next. By the 20th, another low fires over western Kansas with thunderstorms from Texas through Oklahoma and Kansas. The WPC has highlighted moderate risk of high winds across the central and southern plains for the 19th through 20th. By the 21st, the most potent system of the stretch potentially intensifies over the upper Midwest, with a cold front generating severe weather from the deep south through Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Ohio Valley. Nashville, Memphis, Louisville, Cincinnati, Columbus, Birmingham, Atlanta, and Jackson are all in the storm and severe weather zone. On the northern flank, accumulating snow hits the upper Midwest. Minneapolis, Milwaukee, and Chicago are in the snow zone. From the 22nd through 25th, Arctic air makes its most convincing push of late February across the northern tier. The models disagree on how cold and how sustained. The European warms back up quickly. The GFS holds a colder signal through the 22nd to 24th. For the southeast and lower Mississippi Valley, the entire stretch from the 18th through 25th carries elevated threats for heavy rainfall and severe weather. If you're from East Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas, this pattern demands attention through the end of the month. The temperature pattern through late February keeps the eastern ridge dominant, meaning above normal warmth persists east of the Rockies, but each trough that ejects eastward creates volatile clashes between warm and cold air. The stratospheric warming event that split the polar vortex around mid-February is working its way toward the surface, and the MJO interference that's been shielding the east is forecast to weaken. By late February, the door opens for colder air to return across the northern tier, potentially setting up a volatile transition into March. Bottom line, Valentine's Day weekend delivers a massive rain and severe weather event for the south with marginal snow for the northeast. The western mountains then get buried starting Monday the 17th in what could be the most important snowstorm of the entire season for water supply and ski country, and the parade of storms continues through late February with no signs of slowing. See you in the next one.